Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. Today we're going to talk about a branch of logic. It applies to composing, to performing, to artists. It's called Deontic Logic. And the question is, what's permitted, what's obligatory, and what's forbidden? Well, when McCoy Tyner decided that he was going to voice all his chords in fourths, and when Vince Clarke of Erasure said, all analog, they made a strong choice. That strong choice was to be the artists, the person that they are. And as you move forward, you're going to become more specifically you. My teacher, Dr. Roland Wiggins, said, greatness is the realization of a tendency. And how do you, as a musician, focus in on those things that are most purely and essentially you? Well, one way to think of it is to apply a logical tool. Deontic logic is the study of conditional situations. What may I do? What must I do? And finally, what am I not permitted to do? Making those choices in social situations with your partner, out in the world as you decide whether to change lanes or not as you're driving, is an important part of thinking. But it's also an important part of your creative life. Your creative life should be a constant dialogue with these questions. What may I do? Well, of course, artistically, you may do anything. But if greatness is the realization of a tendency, it means you must put some things aside. And not only put some things aside, but also take some things in and always do them. I've spent years practicing piano. If I really want to be the great artist that I hope to be, I'm going to use piano in my work as an example. But it goes further and further than that. Of course, I choose what kinds of melodies, what kind of rhythms, what kind of harmonies, and just general textures are an important part of my musical vocabulary. A great artist is known just as much for what they will never do as what they do. In fact, perhaps even more so. Think of your favorite musician. You can immediately know they would never have done this. Well, I think it's a really important idea. And of course, the danger for us as artists is to become too strict, too rigid. In fact, many of my classical musician friends, and I was speaking about this with a classical singer just this morning, feel that they got hung up on what they must do. And in fact, what they said was, I wish I had spent more time exploring what was forbidden. And I realized as we were talking that the authority, in the case of this classical musician, had somehow become placed outside of themselves. Greatness is the realization of a tendency. And if you examine deontic logic and say, hey, where do I fit in all those categories? You're going to have to decide who or what the authority is. And there's no question in my mind that the authority is not outside you. You are the authority. So make a set of guidelines for yourself. What may I do? What must I do? And finally, what will I never do? What's permitted? What's obligatory? What's forbidden? Well, I hope this has been useful. Listen, like and subscribe to this channel. We're growing quickly, and it's been super fun to watch everything happen. And if you click that bell, you'll be notified when I make a new video, although I think a lot of you who watch these regularly know I'm posting every day. Well, thanks, guys. And I'll see you next time.